Good evening, everybody. This is a code red. It's a code red. It's a 5-alarm fire in America. I woke up to the realization after watching the news that the real coronavirus in America is racism. Mm-hmm. Now, tonight I want to deal with it forthrightly. There's a whole lot going on in America, from Minneapolis to Georgia, and now to Central Park. Those of you that are concerned about our community and concerned about people of color, I need you to jump on. I need you to tag somebody, tell somebody, text somebody. This conversation is going to be no holds barred. I've already had Bible study tonight, and so now we're getting up off our knees and going to the front line. I'm excited about it. Those of you who are just sick of America's original sin, which is racism, I need you to get on. Those of you who are tired of watching every night on the news another case of police brutality, I need you to jump on. Those of you who, in the words of Fannie Lou Hamer, are sick and tired of being sick and tired, I need you to jump on. People are texting me all over the country saying, Pastor, what do we do? What happens next? And where do we go from here? I'm gonna give you just a few moments. My guest tonight has a whole lot to reveal and share. And she wants to let you all know so that you're not getting filtered news from commercialized press, but that you can find out what is really happening with boots on the ground. So ask that you'll please hurry up and get on. Black men in America are the only endangered species that doesn't have national protection. Our Black men are finding themselves being bludgeoned, not from bacteria, but from bad cops and from bad people who are exercising white privilege at its highest order. I'm grateful for all of you. It feels like I've been on all night tonight, and I ain't no ways tired. I got to equip you with the real. You all know I'm always going to keep it 100 with you so that you have some sense of what is taking place across the diaspora and particularly in our community. To that end, let me jump right in and thank you for allowing me to disrupt your night and share with you literally news from the front line. My dear covenant sister, who I have known for many years, is a activist and one of the lead voices in Minneapolis. I checked on her today, and I checked on her while she was in the streets, lifting up her voice. I'm thankful that she is a woman of courage. She is a woman of God, but she realizes that her sanctuary are street corners. I want you to warmly welcome my sister in arms, my comrade in the struggle, my soledad sister. She's just a bad girl. Help me thank God for Carmen Means. Reverend.
Yes, Doctor.
Yeah, Reverend Doctor. Thank you, all of
No,
it.
that's you. I'm just
yeah. Carmen, I am between two emotions, forthrightly. I am between complete outrage and being numb, because it feels like every 48 hours we got another case. I mean, it was bad enough of the trauma of gloves and a surgical mask and not going out, but now it is heightened anxiety. That all of us have, and it doesn't matter. Here's what we finding out: it doesn't matter whether you live in the South, in Brunswick, Georgia. It doesn't matter if you are in the shadow of Lady Liberty in Central Park, or whether you are in the stalwart of, quote, progressives in Minnesota. You are in Minnesota and just coming off the front lines. Here's what I need you to do, because I got people watching tonight from Jamaica, from Nigeria, from the UK, from California, and from Detroit. I need you to regroup for us and tell us what happened over the last 48 hours.
Yeah.
People breaking quarantine and out in the streets tonight.
Yes, absolutely. First and foremost, thank you so much for this opportunity to speak and to share. This is a pandemic before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And so just to give you just some background, the area in which the murder happened last night is the area that I serve as their executive director, which is right in South Minneapolis, 55408. And what's so crazy is I'm originally from Chicago, been up here though most of my life, was raised in North Minneapolis. When I go visit, people often ask me, well, do Black folks live in Minnesota? We actually, however, the population of Black folks here is not great at all. So last night, it was a brother by the name of George Floyd. He was at the corner store on 38th in Chicago, which is the South Minneapolis area. And it's probably about, I'm gonna say about 5 to 6 miles away from where Jamar Clark in 2015 was murdered at by the police in North Minneapolis, and probably about an estimation of about 10 miles away in July of 2016, when Philando Castile became a nationwide name as his murder was captivated on Facebook Live by his girlfriend at the time, Diamond. The brother went inside the store to have some transactions, came outside the store, then called the police or whatever. Police was called. And what we know, when the police was called, they handcuffed the brother. Handcuffing was not enough. An officer sat on that brother's neck for about 4 minutes. Within that 4 minute time span, we had people saying, he can't breathe. The brother was himself saying, I cannot breathe. The same words that rang in our community and literally sent chills down my spine when we heard our brother Eric Gardner saying those same words. A white ally stopped, which was a fire department worker, got out, asked the officer, can I check his pulse? They told her no. Long story short, we are now mourning the death of Mr. Floyd. And so our city is once again outraged. We're in the midst of COVID-19 pandemic, and our numbers reflect the rest of the nation, where a lot of African Americans are at the top of every list. The downside of Minneapolis, though, that we do not have a big presence as far as being large in population, but yet within the last 3 years, well, the last few years period, I want to put a time frame on it, our Black brothers continually are being murdered by our police officers. And so he died. Of course, it was caught on video. It was caught on multiple videos. However, we did have a small victory today, and I say small from the depths of my soul, because as of now, the union is fighting this victory. All 4 officers were fired. And so because I've figured out and I understand that trauma, we sometimes accept anything. And I'm not saying that this was not a victory. Hear me, that has never happened. In our history, our officer has never been convicted in our state besides a Somalian brother that killed a white-skinned human being. He got 17 years. He was a Somalian officer that got 17 years. Any other officers has never been convicted in our city. However, fired does not mean convicted.
Right.
And as we're speaking right now, the union is fighting against and trying to overturn these officers being fired.
Wow.
And so, Dr. Jamal, the thing that got me the most about this case is that the officer that rested on his neck did so casually as his hands were inside his pockets. Wow. As this 46-year-old man began to cry out for his mama. And we're not talking about, we're talking about a man that people knew. So you catch my drift, read between the lines. We're talking about a man that was big in stature, for him to call for his mama, and he killed this man while he was kneeling on his neck with his hands in his pocket before the sun even went down. And so, unfortunately, we were out there tonight. Literally, I just came home. I thought you was gonna have a suit on, bro. I would have kept my stuff on. I tried to get it together on you.
I'm rocking with you, Calm. I'm rocking with you.
So literally just came from the streets. And in between being tired, devastated, exhausted, and pissed off, it is a mix of emotions. We have pastors on the front line that are fighting. Jerry McAfee. We have other leaders on the front line from the Kima, Libby Pounds. You've heard about her, and I hate to start mentioning because I know I'm gonna forget folks. Alicia from our Corcoran neighborhoods. But how do you continue to fight when you feel like you're swinging that air?
Right.
That's the place. And so when we got folks that's trying to warn us about social distancing, you can't speak logic right now to emotionally charged crowd.
Right. Right. What do you think is the next phase from here?
Say it again, Doc.
What is the next phase for here? What is the next call of action?
Our next call of action has to be that we fight the union. One thing, and I will speak to this in my own learning by falling, is that we swing fast, we swing quick, and we get tired. And I get that, especially right now, having to swing in the midst of the pandemic. But we stop too soon. We stop too soon. We have to demand that. We have to demand that there is a change in our union. We have to demand what they're calling receivership. We have to demand that type of stuff. We have to demand that there is not just the BCA stepping in real quick, the FBI stepping in. It's not just quiet moves, but the longevity of our moves will reflect so that this stuff would not happen again and again and again. And so I wish it was, I don't know if I will feel better, but it will be an ease had this just been national, just been locally. But this is a national thing that we're seeing.
Yes, yes.
And so when we're not aware of the laws, and we have to, because a lot of our fight, especially being a leader, I have to respond immediately because we want to keep people safe, right? We want to keep people safe. So we have to have a presence. We have to have a space for protesting. Our protesting cannot be an either or. It has to be an and or. What comes after the protest? What comes during the protest? And so how do we have this intergenerational fight, which we have not mastered here in Minneapolis yet? How do we have the old school as well as the new school? The one who will swing off real quick, but the one who can sit and have meetings with the city council? How do we have the dog boys with the preacher man? How do we have this collective? And how does the Black church re-engage and reignite their original reason for existing?
Wow, wow, wow. A pastor called me tonight from Texas and said, do we march, do we protest, do we rally? And I said to him, in which state? This is a national issue. And because of COVID, we can't take it to Washington. I want to know, Carmen, how can people around the country support you and those who are on the ground with you while you all are navigating this terrain?
Number one, we know that faith, we know that this is spiritual. So we have to pray, keep praying, absolutely, but we have to fight. How do we hit pockets? We know that our lives is being risked right now nationally with reopening things too soon, in my minute opinion, because pockets are being affected. If America does not know how to respond to anything, they know how to respond when the economic turmoil begins to impact them. What does it look like? What does it look like for us to sacrifice to the point? Right now, we have engaged Zoom and Facebook in ways that people can eat for generations to come.
Right.
We've pushed the margin in the means of survival, but I think that we are underestimating our power. We're underestimating our power of us becoming absent. What happens when we not only show up absent at the ballot? I'm not talking about not voting, but we show up absent in social. It's a way that we can move and still practice social distancing and still not travel by shutting things down. What would it look like for us not to buy Amazon? I'm talking about collectively. What would it look like for us, even in our neighborhoods now, to all these co-op shopping? What does shut it down actually look like? That there is a national move, because there is a national, it's not even a threat no more. These jokers is at our door, and I have 2 boys. By any means necessary, I'm not burying mine.
Right.
And so what would it look like for us to collectively come together, think, but planning does not replace praying, and praying does not replace planning. I wish that this was the end of the conversation, but we know that we are revering up for the next.
Yes, yes.
So what does it look like to take our economic power back in our hands and begin to swing back in the places that it hurt? So what do we need nationally? We need a national move. We need churches and pastors to step up and be just as audacious and boldly as we are as opening the doors. What does opening doors even actually mean when you have not opened your community?
Wow. 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 Yeah.
So a lot of conversation has to go with that, Doc.
Yeah, no, this is, I think, the beginning of a brand new move that is happening. I think that I used the phrase a couple of weeks ago, the church has left the building.
Absolutely.
I think that this is where it is that we are absent of stained glass and plush pews, that the church has to be the church outside.
Yes.
In supporting you all. In a very light way, do you all need even masks out there?
Well, we need masks. We do. We need masks. We do have masks coming in, but yes, sir, we do need masks. We need masks. We need like minds to link up, because
Yes.
we make. I love the power of creativity from our Creator. Is our first ability to move in faith. Faith is grounded in creativity. To be able to imagine, what does it look like, this thing to be reimagined, and what conversations can we interchange and glean from? You have something on your mind that may not be on my mind, that could ignite something here that we have not thought of. One thing that I've learned is that in the midst of the battle, it's hard to think past survival.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. And I think
yes,
that we've got to figure out a place where we're not always in survival mode. I'm going to get, tell me about how many masks you need, Carmen.
Small numbers. I would say, to be honest, right now, we probably had it easy about 1,000 folks out there, if not more.
It's going to grow as the week
absolutely
progresses.
Absolutely.
I'm going to make calls and get you 3,000 to 5,000 masks.
We appreciate that.
For you all, and we're standing in the gap in prayer for you. I already have, when we get offline, I've got a battery of lawyers who are prepared to help you all in the event that they are needed, and you read between lines on that. But I got lawyers that are prepared to come out and stand with you. We're praying with you, and I'm going to be bringing it to the rooftop to get clergy and pastors involved and engaged. I appreciate you as a shero helping to lead this fight and navigate this path. Tell people how they can get in touch with you.
You can get in touch with me. My email address is carmen@thecentralneighborhood.com. Again, carmen@thecentralneighborhood.com. My Facebook name is my name, Carmen Means. My IG tag is _just_Carmen_ again.
I'm appreciative for you, and know that we're standing in the gap with you. Tell me real quick, because there's some that just want to push now. Tell me what your Cash App is, Carmen.
My Cash App is Carmen Means. Carmen Means is my Cash App.
Yes. So those of you who are viewing and watching know that I'm going to take the leadership with New Birth to get out to her in the next 48 hours, 3,000 to 5,000 masks, so that our brothers and sisters who are lifting up their voice will be safe and covered. I do not know, but in this battle, please know there's a whole lot of hidden costs to organizing and structuring and mobilizing that you can't see. But I want to be a blessing to my sister. I know her to be a woman of integrity and honor. The streets recognize her and celebrating. So those of you that want to do that, ask that you please Cash App her Carmen Means. Carmen, I'm calling you in just 1 minute. Love you, and I
appreciate you. Appreciate you, Doc.
Thank you. Let's stay and talk.